We got called out for not including an MLS game in our Fab Four on Friday. And one of the games we overlooked, Miami. And they had their big Barcelona boys ready for this one, taking down Atlanta United 4-0. But really the headline here, MVP Messi also taking the lead in the Golden Boot for MLS and also hunting down Carlos Vela's best ever season in Major League Soccer with, I think he's got 44 goal contributions between goals and assists, scoring his 25th and 26th of the year, adding an assist. Pretty much a blowout here, a big show in Miami over the weekend while our eyes were gazing towards the international scene.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's odd that MLS plays through the break at all. There was a handful of games. Lionel Messi is the star of the show for Inter Miami, as you would expect. That the way that this has played out, sort of interesting. We told you, right, that Lionel Messi was going to win the MVP. We did that like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. Basically the same time we told you last year that Lionel Messi was going to the MVP. We did the same thing this year, and he's going to win the MVP. And as you said, he's probably going to win the Golden Boot. He's taking the 2-goal lead on Buoanga. Unfair to Buoanga, who didn't get to play for LAFC this weekend, and they did play this weekend. And what happened to LAFC didn't go their way. They lost to Austin. And, Buoanga was in Austin. Would he have scored? Would he have kept it tight? Obviously, he's been very good with Son there as a duo, as a tandem for LAFC. So I don't love that Denis Buoanga could lose out on the Golden Boot because he missed games that Lionel Messi didn't miss for international duty, but Messi is unstoppable when he is in form. What that means for Miami's chances of winning something is certainly up in the air.
Yeah, 2-goal lead. That is funny. That all comes back to Major League Soccer playing through international breaks. It's like the unbalanced schedule marring what the Supporters Shield means, and then some players having to play international breaks and some not. Messi, odd as it is, in an international break, he's healthy, but not away with Argentina, which is a whole thing unbeknownst to itself.
Very interesting. Yeah. I mean, just the quirks that make Major League Soccer are the thing. And it is worth pointing out, shout out to Andy, who's a member, Be Like Andy. Remember when every team played during the breaks? Brazil also plays through the window. I wonder when MLS will play no games through the FIFA windows. Now, I think maybe we talked about this a little bit and it's come up. It's just, it's very funny to me in a way, just because American soccer is like this. Now, the international breaks could still be a problem if MLS changes its calendar, Rob, which is out there as a talking point, that maybe MLS is considering switching to what is the traditional European style calendar, where we start in the fall and we finish in spring. And there are lots of reasons maybe to do that. Lining up transfer windows for the business of player transactions is certainly a major part of it. Just getting the business end of your season in a part of the American sports calendar where you're not fighting with college and pro football, that's a reason. But imagine, because Johnny Infantino just last week was laying out hints that they may have to switch the calendar again for the World Cup, because when we go to Saudi Arabia, it's going to be really damn hot. Now, it's also going to be hot next year, and they didn't consider switching it for America. I don't want to talk about that. But Saudi Arabia, maybe they're going to go to another Qatari-style World Cup in the winter. Imagine Major League Soccer switches its calendar, and then we have a World Cup in the winter, and you're just running up against that, just like everybody else, but having to find ways to break around it. MLS shouldn't play through the windows. MLS, just like every league in the world, needs to figure out how to handle its calendar in a way that doesn't stress its players too much. The biggest issue with Major League Soccer is that the playoff season takes so long, right? It's a problem now that MLS has to stop for the November break, and they won't play through the November break because that happens during the playoffs, and they certainly don't want teams to be playing playoff games without their best players, Rob. But right now, sure, some of these teams will play.
Yeah, that would be a caveat too far, don't you think? If playoff games, the biggest games of the season, didn't have the biggest stars. Buoanga missing the semifinals of MLS Cup because they're away for international duty would be pretty wild.
And by the way, this is not what we're talking about, but again, Soccer Night in Detroit makes a good point. We actually don't know how MLS is going to handle the World Cup. Now, my guess is they're going to break for the entire thing. But it's done like that
4-6 weeks now, right?
They've done that thing where they break for the group stage and then start playing games again when we get to the knockout phase. That may be the approach. that's traditionally the way MLS has handled it. It's mostly because, again, you shouldn't be playing through any of the World Cup. You shouldn't be playing against the World, scheduling against the World Cup, especially in your own country. I mean, how do you justify that? And yet, if MLS doesn't, how does their calendar work out?
Yeah, there's just not enough weekends or just days at all to play that sort of a calendar, and that it would be pretty wild that, changing the calendar for MLS going to the winter schedule, a seismic change only for the World Cup. The thing that they're trying to not schedule through to fall into that window would be pretty wild turn of events. But just a couple games to go in MLS, and Messi on his way to an MVP and the Golden Boot. We'll see if Buoanga can get back in the LAFC action and give him a run for his money in these final couple matches of the regular